That's why we want to recalculate and redefine what is a success for a company, especially for those tech companies. We have to calculate how much resources you get from the society and how much values you contribute back to the society.
What do you see next for digital philanthropy in China?
We have a slogan. We want to make philanthropy be affordable and accessible to everyone. It's just touching people's concept. Philanthropy or charity is not only for the wealthy people who want to quote the Steve Jobs word that one day you will realize that the world is created by somebody else, but somebody else might not be smarter than you. Then you want to change that.
Yep.
So I really want my students to learn that, and when they become a great manager, don't do evil.
Yeah.
Try to be nice
Sure.
to your peer. Based on my observation, all the great successful people, they definitely will be the lifelong learner.
From platform companies to digital philanthropy, today's guest on the 𝐻𝐾UST Superconnector podcast is one of the most insightful experts on China's digital economy today. Professor Meng is the Associate Director for 𝐻𝐾UST's Center for Technology and Business Ecosystem. She has also led research centers at JD.com, MicroConnect, Deloitte, Accenture, Samsung, and Tencent. She was also one of the pioneering researchers that proposed China's important Internet Plus framework. Professor Meng teaches winning strategies in the digital world in our MBA program. In today's episode, Xiao Li and I talk about her recent Harvard Business Review China article on platform companies, her fascinating career, and her passion for digital philanthropy. I hope you enjoy this interview as much as I did.
Great to have you on our podcast, Xiao Li. It's wonderful
you.
to have a chance to
Thank you,
chat.
Steve. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's my great honor to be here.
Oh, yeah. So you've had a fascinating career journey so far, and really bridging worlds in academia, in research, but also the business world. You've did your PhD at NUS, and then you were a professor at Renmin University. You've worked with leading tech firms, you've worked with consultancies, and now you're back to 𝐻𝐾UST in the university. So help us just understand a bit more on your personal journey. How did you make some of these decisions? Maybe start by even telling us your decision to go study at NUS and getting into research and business.
Yeah, I guess I just love take adventure. I love to try new things. So after I graduated from the US, I go to Renmin University first, but I got a chance. Somebody asked me, there is a kind of research position in Samsung. They asked me whether I'm interested in. So I'm always curious about what happens in industry. I know it's very risky if you go to industry because I'm a kind of nerd, but I really want to try. So I go there. But I think the journey step from there. For the first few switching of my jobs, it's just I want to take new chance and try things differently. And later on, I kind of developed my own business model for my personal growth. It's like I find this is a faster way to develop myself, working in different companies and in different business models. And I really grow fast within these companies. So I think that is a fascinating opportunity for me. And later on, I found we all heard from the HR. The HR said, HR or the headhunter, they will ask you not to switch your jobs too frequently because people will think you are unstable or something. But I cannot build my own business model because there are always new companies. And when they grow up, they become a giant. They want their voice be heard in the field. So they want to establish new research institute. And I'm happy to be the very limited professionals in this field because all the research they went to university. Researchers, they will go to universities, most of the researchers. But for those companies, when they start their own research institute, they want some with experience. So my drawback cannot become my strength. So later on, I think, I was constantly contacted by different headhunters, and they offer me the opportunity now and then. And after 2 or 3 years, I will feel tired I want to try new things. I get tired easily if you ask me to do the same thing over and over. So after 2 or 3 years, I guess I'm bond with what I have
Yeah.
already learned in this company. I will find new opportunity and go to the other company. And talking about why the UST, it's really interesting. It happens incidentally. When I in MicroConnect, I moved to Hong Kong and catch up with one of my old friends. He's my classmates, undergraduate classmates, and he is a professor in some university in Hong Kong. And after we catch up, he told me, your experience is perfect for a practice professor. So he got my CV and helped me to send my CV to every professor he knows in his area. And just happily, my resume goes to Professor Hui, our
Yes.
accident dean, and he just offered me this opportunity. Although everything happens incidentally, but when I got his offer, I just feel, wow, it's my calling. It's the first time I finally know why all these things happen. Why I
Yeah.
learned so many different things, I even went to 𝐸丹 Foundation, chen
Yes, that's
Foundation.
right. Yeah.
This is a private education foundation. So I even learned pedagogy for quite a few years for
Yeah.
no reason. And I try
Yeah.
to study from the best practices
Yeah,
in
that's
the
right.
education
Yes.
area. And I can't instantly think about the Steve Jobs word. He said that there are dots in your life, and one day you connect the dots and you finally see it's finally will lead to your future. And that's a moment I realized this is kind of my calling. So I make the decision to go to UST
Yeah.
employee. Yeah.
Great. You're part of the, you're helping to lead the Center for Technology and Business
Yes.
Ecosystems as
Yes.
well, right?
Yes.
Well, that's fascinating. So you're kind of like a entrepreneur of research centers, helping to found these at different companies and working. How did you choose the companies that you would want to go work for? You've been at Tencent, JD, MicroConnect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first is, I think I choose from quite a few criteria. The first thing is that I must learn something new. This should be different from my past experience. Then this is the first one. The second one, and that is also my advice to my students, when you choose a company, you need to look at its culture. Although I know it's not changeable, but you have the guts, you have the feelings, whether you fit with your colleagues, whether you love your supervisor. My suggestion is, if you don't like the culture of the company, don't go. Don't go. You will waste your time there, and sometimes it could be a disaster for your career path. So yeah, that's all.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about your current work with the Center for Business and Technology Ecosystems.
Yes.
And I know you recently released a new article with Harvard Business Review China. Tell us a little bit about that and some of the concepts and
Yeah. Just yesterday,
Yeah.
our articles win the special award.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, maybe I talk about a little bit about the article we wrote and published on HBR.
Great.
It's like we want to redefine what is a success for a company. It's very interesting topic, and Harvard Business Review said you are challenging the whole industry, and they seldom publish such kind of paper because you don't want to attack the whole industry, right? Let me elaborate the story. Based on my observation, actually, human being want the most efficient business model in history. It's called platform business model. If you check the most valuable company around the world, in the top 10 most valuable company around the world, 5 of them are actually adopt a same business model, which is platform business model, like Amazon, Facebook, like Alphabet, Apples. They all use such kind of business model, and the business model is so efficient. So 20 years ago, just one company adopted this business model. It's so efficient that in China it still works. In China, the most valuable company are Tencent and Alibaba. And why it is so efficient? I think it's because it's a platform, but in contrast with all the conventional or traditional business, in traditional business, the value is created by the company by its own resources. But in platform business, it's like all the values are created by your partners, and you have unlimited ceilings to grow. For instance, if you go to TikTok, any social media website, the content is created by other users. You are not using the resources of your own company. You use Uber, and the service is provided by the taxi driver. And for the platform, they are just a matchmaker. The
Okay.
second one is that the winner takes all. Previously, in any sector, there are a lot of players there, but right now, a platform actually can support other players in a single sector. For instance, if you go to the media sector, we actually just use very limited apps, and the Ubers can cover the taxi service for a whole city theoretically. Previously, it's not a problem because people kind of agree winner takes all.
Yeah.
It's like we call that Mansell law, or we call that 20-80% law. It's like 20 people take around 80% of the resources. But right now, it's for digital economy, for digital platform, it's like the only 0.1 winners will take more than 99.9%
Yes. Yeah.
of the resources of the whole society. And uh, and even worse is that nowadays the digital world is intertwined with the real economy. So the platform has too much powers to control the profit. And the worst thing is that they are not only control their partners within their platform, they actually give them very limited profit. So therefore, such kind of thing will extend to the upstream supplier. For instance, if you go to China, there are very limited grocery stores or some small shops compared with like 10 or 15 years ago. So
Yeah.
everyone is kind of working for the platform, not only within the ecosystem, even outside the ecosystem, they cannot become a part to supply their profit to the final winner. Then this is become really serious, and I think AI will exacerbate those kind of dividend. So that's why we come back and check why should they get so much profit. It's actually come back to a debate happens last century, and people are discussing who should be a company, who should a company be accountable for. Then Milton Friedman gives the results. He said Milton Friedman actually persuaded all the others. He said that company should be only accountable for its shareholder. So that's why the only purpose of the company is to maximizing its profits. That's why for those platforms, if they are only accountable for their shareholders, they should maximize their profits. But nowadays, things change so differently, right? The world, there is no first step and second step. In China, we always will get rich. Some people get rich first, then you use your resources to help the others. Nowadays, if you check the real economy, some of the real economy has been really damaged, and there is no room or no ways for them to repair it later. And so that's why we want to recalculate and redefine what is a success for a company, especially for those tech companies. We have to calculate how much resources you get from the society and how much values you contribute back to the society, create within these firms. How much values are created by you, or you're using your own resources to create this value. All this value is created by your partners by their own efforts and resources. If so, you have to give decent profit to your partners to maintain a more healthy ecosystem. So that's the key thing of this article. And obviously, we challenge the whole industry.
It seems like you're part of the movement toward more responsible business in the sense of the ecosystem has to stay healthy.
Yes.
And if one player is taking all the resources and
we call that co-benefit ecosystem. So this should be the target for the whole industry.
So what are some of the things that either companies themselves or the industry in general can do to help achieve this type of result?
We used to have a slogan which called tech for good. We think that every time when you do something, you shouldn't maximize. Your own purpose is not to maximize your profit right now. You should think about the ecosystem, a healthy ecosystem, how to maintain a healthy ecosystem. And I think a perfect example is from Patagonia. Patagonia did really great job. They just combine everything in their process of producing. They consider every partner's profits during their process
Yeah.
rather than
Yep.
after I finish the production thing, I go back and contribute back. They just considering how to maintain a more healthy, more sustainable supply chain
Yes.
during the production process. I think this is some example we should learn, and we encourage all the technology company to learn from those kind of best practice.
Yeah, it's got to be new ways of thinking about accounting even, right? It's sort of thinking about accounting in the entire ecosystem.
Yeah,
And
it's like every time, for instance, the Uber driver, when they give a ride to the platform, get 20%
right,
commission fee, or maybe just 5% commission fee is more reasonable.
right.
And we hope the platform will think about those kind of platform tax more seriously.
That is one of the challenges of our time, right? It's this like too much market power
Yes,
with some companies, the
yes,
concentration of market power.
yes.
Yeah.
And I think AI will exacerbate the things if we don't control them. In my observation, regulations are always lag behind. When they notice that such things happens, they already make the damage. It's just difficult to repair the whole ecosystem.
So let me back up a bit. So you were one of the really thought leaders behind digital economy work in China. And I know when you were at Tencent, you wrote a book, co-wrote a book with the CEO, Pony Ma, on Internet Plus.
Yes.
And I remember, at that time, right, Internet Plus was the new concept.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, what do you think were some of the book and Tencent's contributions to the idea of Internet Plus?
Talking about that, it's not just one book.
Yeah.
It's a series
whole-
of report of
Yeah.
the Internet Plus and digital economy. Back in 2014, actually, from that year, we wrote a series report about Internet Plus index, and later on we changed that to digital economy index. And we also wrote the strategy, the Internet Plus strategy in Ponyma's proposals, 2 sessions proposals. And later on, just very luckily, this concept, Internet Plus and digital economy, has been adopted in the government working report. And therefore, local government thinks the digital economy as the new drive for the growth of the economy. So that's why every Chinese company or local governance want some tangible results related with digital economy, and the Internet Plus becomes so popular in China.
What was it like for you co-writing that book with
Uh,
Pony? Yeah, with the CEO.
yeah, Tony is a very low-key guy, but he really pay attention to a lot, to every single details. He's a master of the product manager. When in IT industry, when we say, okay, you are a good product manager, actually kind of pay too much attention to every single details. I give you one example. I still remember one day after I finished the whole chapter, I sent the document into a working group, a WeChat working group. And in this working group, there are more than a dozen colleagues, including Polyma. At least half of them are professional researchers. We read and write every day. And Polyma is the first one gave reply. Just within 1 minute, he jumped, hey, there is a typo. And I checked that. Yeah, it's a typo, but it's a teeny tiny one. Almost nobody will find that, but he found that in just 1 minute. And I'm thinking, hey, boss, aren't you master of the product manager? And shouldn't you be coding or maybe manage a big company? You are CEO, you're CEO in China, right? Shouldn't you do some managing work rather than find a typo in documents? But and he is very smart. I give you another example. I think he just intuitively know how to create future. I think back in 2014 or 2015, after we finished the Internet Plus report, we do a presentation because it's index reflects the internet activity of more than 300 cities and province, 300 cities and more than and cover all the provinces in China. So we use a map of China and we color different cities and show the results. So there is kind of map of China. And when Pony saw those PPT, he just instantly say, "Oh, it's passive. It's a passive one. It's not interesting." we should make an interactive one. If this screen can be large enough and we actually can use this screen to control all the data, that would be more fun. He said that how many people will actually read a paper if you just make an interface with a big screen, it will be more fun. And I think 3 years or 4 years later, there is another very popular concept called smart city.
Yeah.
And people suggest that we should build a smart brain to control those smart city. And when I saw their smart brain, it's just a screen.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, probably. But I clearly remember that because this is his instinct reaction. And he asked us to do that
Yep.
right after the presentation. So I think he kind of intuitively know how to invent the future.
Fascinating. I am curious. So you've been just really working on digital economy stuff for a long time.
Yeah.
And you were also one of the translators for information rules. And I still remember
Yeah.
when this book came out
Yeah.
back in 1999 or
Yeah,
2000, right?
1990.
Bavarian, who was the Google economist, right?
Yeah.
And then he wrote this book about how information economy is different.
Yeah.
How has that shaped your thinking? Are there things about the book that have really stood the test of time? And do you think, what did the book miss that now we're learning about that is
Okay.
new?
I love that
Yeah.
book very
Great
I
book.
think that book actually helped me to define my taste for risk paper. Yeah, it's just use very simple language to explain what what will happen in the near future. And I think the book is published in 1998.
Right.
But at that time, he just predict, this is a loss for the future. And after 20 or 30 years later, you go back and say, yeah, that's true. But you will be surprised. Those kind of things already written in a book 20 years ago. For instance, I think he's one of the first researchers who proposed the platform economy. Yeah. So that's in his book.
Yeah.
And another one is winner takes all.
Yep.
This is one rules in his book. Another one, I still remember he said that's the top company, they don't produce product by themselves. They just define rules. They define the rules.
Yes.
And nowadays we change the word a little bit. We call that orchestrator, the
Right.
best
Yeah.
company. They don't produce product by themselves. They just orchestrator. But I think the concept is totally same. Yeah. I love that book very much. And talking about anything he didn't mention in that book, I think, maybe the evolving of digital economy. For instance, based on my observation, build a platform is just step one for those digital companies, for those technology companies. The first step is to build a platform. But after they build the platform, all of them just change to data-driven business. That's why in China, that from 2014, you can say fintech is booming because all these platforms got enough data and just very naturally, they want to jump into the next curve and they want to use data to do another kind of business. It could be fintech, it could be some business based on cloud, but this is kind of data-driven business. I don't think he mentioned that in his book. And another direction is still about the evolution of digital economy. And another direction is Web3. It's like in his book, all he's talking about is like what happens in Web2.
Yes.
That is the platform. Users generate the content, but the content and the data belong to the platform. And obviously, somebody will not happy with the result. So we go to the Web3.
Yeah.
You create the content, but also you don't give the autonomy to the platform. You own the raw.
A lot of the work you're doing is extending all of that research, right? And now what's the next set of information rules for the next 20 years in Web3? So, you mentioned your work with 𝐸 the Educational Foundation. I know they do the 𝐸 Educational Award, and they're very at the forefront of helping with philanthropy and education.
Yes.
We're a big part of Tencent.
I worked in Tencent Foundation.
Yeah, tell us about that. How did you get involved with Tencent Foundation or some of the things that happened while you were there?
It's really interesting. I did a very stupid project at that time.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
for Tencent Foundation,
Right.
actually we start from 2008
Yeah.
after the earthquake. So my bosses in Tencent Foundation, two of them are founders of Tencent. Another boss, she's the Secretary General of Tencent Foundation. Previously, she was a product manager of QQ website. So just very naturally, those guys think, okay, after the earthquake, we should build a website. And I ask people to use the digital payment to donate to the earthquake. At that time, there is no mobile payment, but you can use the 财付通, another kind of digital payment wise method. So that's how it started. And for me, I worked in Tencent Research Institute, and at that time, I want to do a kind of stupid project. I want to give the mobile phone to the people in rural area, and I want to see how the mobile phone will change their lives. So this is kind of a little bit charity related. So they asked me to find helps from the Tencent Foundation because they are doing the charity thing. So actually cooperate with the team in Tencent Foundation. But later on, I found I really love that kind of job. So that is part of my job. So I worked in both in Tencent Research Institute and in Tencent Foundation. That's how it started.
Tell us about, I guess the online donations in WeChat. That's
Yeah.
something that is just phenomenal. What do you think?
After the earthquake,
Yeah.
the website already been built, and my bosses just don't want to waste the website. So they are thinking about how about we use a platform. We use the platform. We use that as a platform, and we actually nowadays Tencent Foundation is not a private foundation. You can think that as a platform for all the NGOs and donors in China. It's like all the NGOs can go to this platform. It's like just like Taobao or Amazon in e-commerce. It's like in charity.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Yeah, in charity, you can go to Tencent Foundation.
Yeah.
It's a platform. Later, it becomes some links in your WeChat, but still, it's a platform. It helps do the matchmaker between the NGOs and the donors. But it happens in just 7 years. In just 7 years, my bosses built all the things from scratch. And 7 years later, it actually changed the whole philanthropy sector in China. And right now, it's the largest philanthropy platform in China as well as around the world per donated money and per participations.
In China.
That is also a very interesting one. It's like the mobile payments actually change everything. It also changed the philanthropy. It changed the people's charity behavior. For instance, previously when you donate money, because there are a lot of troubles, you have to, in China, we don't have, I think in China before 2008, actually, if you want to donate something, you need to go to the post office. You need to fill a lot of forms. You need to give your monies on the counters and just mail out. And you don't know what is the feedback. But since you already go to the post office, it must be a lot of money, right? You will not go there and say, hey, this is $1. Because helping to mail to maybe some NGO. It's not possible. But mobile payment actually change everything. And we have a slogan. We want to make philanthropy be affordable and accessible to everyone. It's just touching people's concept. Philanthropy or charity, it's not only for the wealthy people. Everybody can afford that. If I ask you to donate, okay, it's a lot. I ask you to donate $1, you can do that, right? So my bosses actually have a very ambitious goal. They want to cultivate the charity behavior of the young generation in China. This is one thing. And nowadays we actually touched more than 100 million people in China. So it's definitely become a daily habit of the new generation. So we are really proud of that. Another thing is the diversity of the field. It's interesting. Previously, when we're talking about charity, when we're talking about philanthropy, people will naturally want to avoid that because there are 3 most common projects. First is poverty. Second, kids want to go to school. and third one is Eunice. All of them are just sad. You don't want to touch us for ordinary people. You just want to avoid the sadness. But with the platform, a platform have the long tail effect.
Yep.
Any small project, as long as you are interesting, you can attract some audience and you can attract some people to donate for you. So after we have the platform, there are all kinds of different projects. For instance, we have the food for the street cat, and you actually can support a photographer to go to the village, to go to the isolated village and take the last photo for the grandpa and grandma in the village, and to memorized by their sons or grandsons or something. All kinds of interesting projects just be neutralized by the platform. And there are another very famous one, like the ant forest. Like it's one of the most famous project in China. The project is invented by ants. So what they do is that you actually can collect low carbon score based on your daily activity. For instance, if you take the public transportation rather than drive your own cars, you actually can claim some low carbon score. Then on your apps and within on your ant apps like Alipay, then you can collect the score on Alipay apps, and later on when you accumulate enough score, you can donate your score. Then the ant platform, they will find some NGO to actually plant a tree in the desert in Inner Mongolia or Xinjiang province for you. So it's really interesting.
It's great that this idea of cultivating the habit of philanthropy with more people and using the technology to make it as easy as ordering like a product online. Fascinating. How about yourself? Are there any types of, personal charities that you like to support? What type of causes do you usually
it's
like
interesting.
to support?
Previously, it's like based on our slogan.
Yep.
We want to cultivate as many different types of NGO as possible, as many projects as possible. So I kind of have a habit. Whenever I saw a new project I never seen before, I will donate.
So let's talk about teaching. And in our MBA program, you teach the course Winning Strategies in the Digital World. I heard great things about the course from students.
Thank you.
And, if you had to tell someone considering taking the course, what's the course about? What's the big questions you're trying to help our students understand?
Basically, I want students to understand how the digital economy evolves. It starts from where it started. I think for most I think for most of us, we can only see the results. But actually, what I want to tell them is that everything happens for a reason. I want to tell them all the backstage story. Like you only saw the strategy that actually survived. There are a lot of failed strategies and failed product. And let's analyze what happens there and why this strategy dominates the world. And this is something I want to introduce them. And I think it's very helpful if you understand where we come from. You definitely know if AI changed the world, which one is the right direction, and which direction actually have I higher opportunity to win, higher chance to win.
Are there any favorite case studies or examples you like to use in the class?
The top one is the subsidy. We are so used to all the subsidy, and sometimes people just think, oh, those capitals are crazy, right? You subsidy like 100 million subsidy within just 1 month or 2 months. And why this happen? This is actually happens for a very, very convincing reasons. And every reasonable guy will do that if you work in this field. Understand? And actually, what I think people don't know, what defines our world today actually happens within just a very short time, like 1 month or 2 months. At the beginning of the whole thing starts, just at the beginning. So that is a very crucial window for every company. So that's why you can say there are stupid things like burning money as crazy guys. But that happens for a reason. And I use an auction game and ask the student to practice. Like after they practice auction, they understand this is a kind of a game. Either I'm all in or I'm out.
That sounds like a fascinating class to sit in on. And to hear about that story on subsidies. What do you enjoy most about teaching?
I guess it's the aha time. Yeah. People just take for granted because our young generation, they grow up with their mobile phone and they think everything should happen like that. But I'm always trying to tell them the world is designed by product manager or somebody else. Although I think everybody knows that we are trapped by our mobile phone nowadays.
Yeah.
You are using mobile phones to do everything, but you should be very carefully because every detailed thing is deliberately designed by those product manager for a reason. What is the reason? They working for the profit for the company, for the society, or for the customer. And every click, every move you do with your mobile phone, it happens for a reason. I want the student to understand that. And still, I want to quote the Steve Jobs word. He said, one day you will realize that the world is created by somebody else, but somebody else might not be smarter than you. Then you want to change that.
Yep.
So I really want my students to learn that. And one day when they become a great manager, don't do evil.
Yeah.
Try to be nice
Sure.
to your peer.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy the aha time,
Yep.
The student will come to me and say, hey, I never thought in this way. Actually, this is my first time to think about things in this way. And this is kind of aha time to me.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that.
So let's think about that. And you've been with the digital economy since the beginning, translating information rules, doing research with Samsung, Tencent, JD, 𝐌𝐞𝐧𝐠, writing papers now on AI,
Whole
the platform
industry.
challenging the whole industry. If you think ahead for our MBA students and think about the next 10 years, 20 years for their career, what do you think? What's your advice for them? What are some things that you would really tell them to prepare for the future?
I just want to encourage them to try everything, to grab every possible opportunity
Yep.
and do that instantly. Yeah, this is my first advice. Try everything if possible. Another thing, I'm very lucky. I work closely with those kind of master in the field, and I observe, and I always thinking what kind of attributes actually make them become so successful. Based on my observation, all the great successful people, they definitely will be the lifelong learner. They learn everything every day. Every new thing. It's just really common. I work in different companies and I have a lot of great and famous bosses. Based on my observation, all of them just fast learner and they are lifelong learners. Yeah, they are eager to know what happens tomorrow and what should I be prepared. What should I learn and prepare for the future? And every time I'm thinking, they are doing such kind of thing. The people who are more successful or smarter people, they are more diligent than me. So I will follow them. This is my another attribute. I think it is resilience. And I saw them up and down every day, almost every day. Sorry, it's not that. The resilience. The second one is resilience. I think the action, there are only two results. First result is success. The second result is growth. So they never take anything as a failure. They always learn from their mistake or something and going forward. My last advice to the students is that find real context to polish your knowledge. It's like for myself, for quite a long time, I just want to learn more. I don't think it's enough. Later on, I find that after you have the basic framework, better you go to the field and try to test the theory and knowledge with what happens in real world, and that will help you to learn faster and know, okay, how can I revise my model and find new directions and polish my skills, and that's in that way you will grow fast.
It's one of the tough things for us as teachers, right? We love teaching our students. We'd like them to stay around forever, but we've got to let them go. And they've got to go out and try the ideas and polish them in their businesses. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining this podcast, and thank you for teaching in our MBA program.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thanks for listening, and remember Professor Meng's words of wisdoms. Every time you use your phone, think about what the product manager is trying to get you to do. And if you do become the product manager, don't be evil. To be the first to know about our next episode, please follow this podcast on Spotify, YouTube, or Apple Podcasts. To learn more about HKUST, check out HKUST MBA on social media. We are on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, WeChat, and RedNote.